I'm Jeff St. Laurent with sellingcoaching.com, and today I'm going to teach you the activities that we don't get paid for. As an entrepreneur, we get paid for results, not time, which means I can sit in my office all day and no matter what I do or don't do, I'm not going to get paid unless I do the right activities that produce revenue. There are a lot of activities in our business that we have to do, even if they're not revenue producing. One of the things that I want to teach you though is to recognize which ones are going to produce the revenue and which ones are not going to produce the revenue. Make sure you check out my video on the top revenue producing activities and then other videos where I break them down so you can learn more about them. So right now I want to teach you the activities that while they're important, they don't directly contribute to us getting revenue. The first one I want to talk about is actually taking clients. So when you're on the phone with a client who's paying you, that's not a revenue producing activity. You're not actually getting paid for that. You might be thinking, well, of course I'm getting paid for that. Here's what I want you to think about. What you get paid for is the activities you did to get that client, following up on the leads, emailing them, contacting them, inviting them to a complimentary session, closing the complimentary session, then taking their credit card information or however they're paying you. That's what you did to get paid. The coaching call, the client itself, is a result of us doing the revenue producing activities. So when you're on coaching calls all day, that's not revenue producing. That's the fun, that's the reward for the revenue producing activities that we've done. So I want you to think about that. If you've got a full day lined up of coaching calls, don't fool yourself that those activities are activities that are going to grow your business. That's what we want to think about. Revenue producing activities are the activities that are actually going to grow our business and get us paid. Once we've gotten paid, the items, like some of the ones I'm talking about here, one of which is taking our coaching calls, those aren't actually revenue producing. So I want to be clear on that. Another non-revenue producing or activity that's not going to get us paid is a seminar, all right? So you might be thinking, whoa, Jeff, you said in your other video, seminars. No, it's setting up seminars. So again, really important to understand, whenever you're speaking, that's not the actual revenue producing activity. It's what you did to set that up. Obviously, getting leads, from there, qualifying them, so forth and so on, that's going to lead down that road. But it's what you did to set up the seminar, that's a revenue producing activity. So the actual taking of a client, the actual doing of the seminar, that's not a revenue producing activity. Another non-revenue producing activity, or another way of looking at it, is what you're not going to get paid for, is staring at the phone. You can't stare at the phone. It's when you pick it up and you actually create the call, that's when it becomes an activity. Another one is organizing. It's organizing files on your computer. It's organizing your desk. It's organizing your environment, making it look nice and neat or whatever it is. Organizing does not get you paid. Another activity that doesn't get you paid, it's getting ready to get ready. It's preparing, it's getting your mindset ready, it's doing the meditation, or it's centering yourself, it's getting your energy level to where you want it to. I'm not saying that's not important, but that stuff does not get you paid. A lot of people get ready to get ready. They got to get all their ducks lined up in a row. They've got to be fully prepared. Everything's got to be perfect for them to make the call or send the email or to ask for the sale or to create something. That doesn't get you paid. We've got to get to the point where we're actually doing the actions to reach out to those people. Other activities that don't get you paid: reading, learning, whether it's reading a book, listening to an audio course, something online that you're looking at. It's important, right? We've got to progress. We've got to educate ourselves. We've got to make ourselves more valuable. Yet, that does not get you paid. Think about it. If you have a job, which most of you would, or have had at one point, have you ever gone to your job and just sat at your desk and kind of leaned back and just read a book? Even if the book was on developing yourself with whatever your position was at a job, if your manager or CEO came by and they saw you reading, they're like, hey, what are you reading? Even if you said, hey, I'm reading on how to become a better whatever, okay, great, but do that on your own time. Unless they're actually paying you to go to a course or audit a course or whatever it is to get you better, that's different. But if you just went to your office at a 9-to-5 job and you were just reading on how to get better at your job, that's not what they pay you for. They pay you to actually execute the job and do what you need to do. So the same thing with us. If you're learning how to become a better coach, or even watching these videos are non-revenue producing activities. Yes, they're going to help you, and yes, we need to have that education and personal development and professional development, but don't fool yourself by sitting in your office and saying, yeah, I'm working, reading and developing yourself, when that's not part of our business activities. Do that, in other words, on your own time, not on business hours. And the last non-revenue producing activities that don't get us paid would be social media. Now, this can be a tricky one, and I'll define this a little bit more, but we can always get caught up in the social media buzz, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, wherever it is. And we think, well, isn't that revenue producing because we're out there connecting with people? Let me clarify this a little bit. If you're engaging with a very specific person or contact, and they're writing something about a need of theirs, and let's say that's your target audience, or you can specifically help that person with what you do, either from your products or services, reaching out specifically with them and engaging with them and saying, hey, I noticed that you were talking about this, or I noticed that you were saying you needed help with X, Y, and Z. Have you ever considered working with a coach before? Or how important is it that you're looking to achieve that in your life right now? Why is now the right time for that? If you're engaging specifically, asking those types of questions, in other words, what you're doing is you're gauging, do I have a potential client here or not? That would be a revenue producing activity, because you're engaging a potential client and that could turn into actual business. However, very few people are doing that specifically. They're posting stuff on social media, they're interacting, they're going to the coaches' blogs, and they're asking questions, and they're receiving questions, and they're doing a bunch of activities, but that's not really getting them anywhere. Remember, social media only becomes very valuable to us when we have a very specific target market that we're going after, and maybe we're answering questions that the target market is posting, and then we're actually sharing some answers with those people, maybe driving them to our website saying, hey, check this out. Those are very important components of social media. But if it's a general, just posting some things out there, like I said, it's important, but it's not a revenue producing activity. You can get caught up in there, and next thing you know, what happens is you're posting about your dog, you're posting about the beach, and you're socializing with people, and you can spend a lot of countless hours on social media, and that's pulling away from the core activities that are going to get you paid. My objective today is to help you create an awareness of what activities are revenue producing, the ones that are going to get you paid, and what activities, while important, you want to gauge how much time you're spending on them and where you have them in your business day. If you have your business day, no matter how short or long it is, you've got to make sure you have activities in there that are going to get you out there and get you paid, those revenue producing activities. Like I said, check out my video on the top revenue producing activities, and always look at your schedule and make sure you have some of those in there, either one or a bunch of them. That's the important stuff, because if you're going to make this transition, if you're going to take that leap, it's vital that you understand this. So if you're ready to take that leap, always remember, selling coaching is the absolute best way to fast track your business from a part-time hobby to a full-time career. Now get out there, get leads, get clients, and get paid.